Logic before authority.
Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority. Yes, I know a few of you have run across this, but we need to talk about this more in depth. What are we talking about? We're talking about why this magnet is sticking to this guy's arm. There's certain things I'm not going to say, certain words I'm not going to, because I don't want anyone to assume that I'm making claims that YouTube might not like. Okay? But let's take a look at some more pictures here. This is another one. Sticking to the site. This is another one. Now imagine if you go to this guy's website, you can find the links to these videos. He's got them on a different website because they're being wiped off of everywhere. Okay. Alright. So why are they sticking? Well, you know what this spot is. But why are they sticking? Well, the interesting thing is, I'm going to show you here in a second. And some of these don't actually show it well. I was having a hard time getting it to take screenshots when I was doing this. They're sticking for one of two reasons, okay? But let's go back up here. We'll come back to that in a bit. Okay, they're either sticking because there is a heavy metal that's inside there in the skin, or there is something that is creating a EMF field, electromagnetic field. Basically, this girl did a test to see if a non-magnetic piece of metal would stick, and it did. So that means that there is something in there in the skin, the arm, that is producing a magnetic field. And let me hold on just one sec. Okay. So since it's just a little wrench thing she had, it's kind of blurred because she was moving, but metal itself is sticking. Okay, so that means that there is something that has been put inside of the skin that is creating a EMF field. It is able to communicate highly likely with anything that would connect at its frequency that it is set at. Now what needs to happen here, the next step in this, in looking into this, is we need to find some people with a EMF detector, okay, that goes, it's going to have to be a good one that goes up into the gigahertz, okay. I have one, and I'm going out today on my bike, and I'm going to try to find people that will let me check with a magnet and see if it sticks. And then if it sticks, I'm going to use my EMF detector, and I'm going to see what frequency that this device in the arm is emitting. I'm suspecting it's going to be one of a couple of frequencies. I'm suspecting it's going to be 60 gigahertz or 8 gigahertz. I'm more leaning towards 60, okay? But it could be a different one. But any frequency that's being emitted from this is unacceptable. This girl, she has figured out that her arm is magnetic, But she also is obviously dead asleep because she's wearing this on her black shirt. Okay. But she's seeking to find out and try to figure out what it is. Okay. It's worse than she could imagine. Let's back up. Let's go back over here. Nope, did not want that. What we need to do is we need to, any of you that have a EMF detector, and I don't know why that keeps popping up. I wish it would stop. Yes, I get it. Fine. We need to be doing some tests on some people, and we need to establish what frequency it is, because what I suspect is happening here is what's happened. Think about the logo that all this rolled out with, right? Operation what? Warp. I'm on YouTube, so I'm intentionally being vague, obviously. The logo on there is the Borg logo. We'll pull it up. Okay, let's just pull up a window here. Pull it over here so y'all guys can see it. And let's just go to, most of you have seen this, but I'm showing it for anybody that's new. Okay, so here we have it. Let's open it in a new window so we can see it good. You see the cube? It's talking about warp speed, right? So we're obviously talking about Star Trek, right? They're making reference to it. They're making reference to what? The cube, the Borg, okay? And what was the Borg about? For those of you that don't know and didn't watch any of the Star Trek stuff, the Borg was where iron and clay, or human beings and different creatures of different types that were living beings, were assimilated into the machine, okay? And it was a big Borg. It looked like a big cube flying through space, and it assimilated everybody, okay? Not everybody, but it was attempting to assimilate everybody in the movies, okay, in the shows. And what's happened here with the EMF field that's coming out of the people is they have been assimilated and put up, and they're on a node, and every movement at a minimum that they make, they are being tracked, okay? What are they being tracked by? I'll show you. Do you remember the movie The Matrix? Okay, let me show you. Matrix. Sentinels. Okay. Remember these guys from the Matrix movies? Let's see if I can find a bigger image. Well, this is going to have to do. Okay, here you go, right? No. My computer is attacking me. Anyways, you see these guys? This is from the movie The Matrix, and these were sentinels. Now, what I have explained is that when they were in this environment, which they called Zion, they called this environment Zion. Okay, what this was is that it was inside the body at a molecular level. This was these are nanobots that are inside the body in this movie called The Matrix. And they are called Sentinels. You see, I typed it in, The Matrix Sentinels. Okay, they are called Sentinels, and they are the nanobots that go around trying to kill the humans that they find. Anything that was not under the control of the AI that was in the Matrix. Let me see if that'll come up. I'm looking for the picture of the image of the. They're probably not admitting that it was an AI. Is why it's not coming up. But here, let me show you this image. This is from The Matrix also. Let me see if there's a better, higher quality image. It's not that great. Let's see what this one is. Yeah, this is actually good. Let's look at this. Okay. You see how see these things that look like towers? Towers right here. And all these are little nodes on the towers. Okay. This is DNA, strands of DNA. And Neo has woken up and figured out that he is a node inside of a system. Okay. Which is in an alternate reality within the realities that he existed in. You see the electricity flying down here? That is the current flowing that I'm talking about, the EMF field that's creating the EMF field. You understand? I hope you do. This is taking place at a nanomolecular level inside of your body. Okay. Let me go back here and see if I can find an image that's still. And I wish I could find the AI for you, but it's where Neo went and talked to the, this one might, well, I don't know how clear it is, but we'll look at it anyways. You can see these are strands of DNA, and they're showing the individuals as pods on the DNA, okay? And this is the electricity that is flowing that I'm talking about, that's creating, it's related to the electricity that's flowing and connecting everything, okay? Okay, where to go from here? Because this is some crazy stuff. I wish I could see the AI. Okay, but here's the point. Let me show you this. Okay. What I asked the question, what is connecting to this, to these things in the people's arms? What's tracking them? Okay. Here we go. The FDA Sentinel. Sentinel Initiative, okay? Monitoring the safety of its regulated products is a major part of the FDA's mission to protect public health. Sentinel is a FDA national electronic system which has transformed the way researchers monitor the safety of FDA-regulated medical products, including drugs, and that word, can you see that word? VACCIN, biologicals, okay, and medical devices in response to the FDA Amendments Act of 2007. The FDA launched the Sentinel Initiative, okay, So what they've done, here is the Sentinel website, the sentinelInitiative.org. Okay. What they did was the Congress ordered the FDA to set up an AI that tracks all stings from the point of manufacturing to the point of being put into the people, and then further tracking it after that. How are they doing it? Well, I just showed you how they're doing it. They're using an EMF device that's able to connect. It connects just like your cellular phone. Okay, it connects to a network. It's probably connecting through your cell phone, and you don't even know it because you have the tracking software. Remember the tracking software they put on everybody's cell phones? And probably also connects through your Wi-Fi device, through your home Wi-Fi. Or any place you go, it's going to connect, and it's going to show them on a grid where exactly you are. See, here's they're showing their frequencies. Okay. I haven't looked at this in a little while, so let's look at it again here. Let's see if we just see anything interesting. And of course, there's 1,000 things interesting in here. Let's see here. How Sentinel works, outcome and results, data and tools. What I would suggest is y'all guys just coming over here and taking a look at this, and you can read about it, because there's going to be a ton here to get into, okay? But what I was telling you about what they were showing us in the Matrix, it's exactly what we're living through right now. And they even called it the Sentinel, okay? Oh, man, what a trip. Got something else I want to show you. Actually got a couple more things I want to show you. Let me go ahead. Hang on just one second. Let me go to the area where I have what I want to show you. Okay, y'all guys are going to remember this. Okay, here we go. Let me pull it back up here. Oops, somehow I lost connection. Hang on just a second. Should reconnect in just a moment. Okay, here we are. Screenshots. This is from Deagle.com, okay? And take notice of the icon right here, okay? Deagle.com. Now, back in 2013, okay, Deagle.com came out with they're a military contractor. Okay, they act like they're not connected to the military and this and that and the other, but yet they doing forecasts for all of the militaries of the entire world, statistics of the entire planet. Okay, it's just one of the things that they put out. Back in 2013, they came out with a report that gave projections of what well, you can see it here. It's clearing up. Of what they list all the countries and then the populations. So they're predicting the populations to go up or down. A lot of you remember this, but I got something that's going to blow your mind here in a minute about this. The military expenditures and the PPP. Let's see, what was the PPP? Power purchase parity. Okay. Meaning whether your purchasing capability is going up or going down, and whether your military expenditures are going up and going down, and the gross domestic product of the entire country. Now, it starts out with China, and China maintains, you see, they do lose 10 million people, but their GDP actually goes up substantially, and their military expenditures go up substantially, and their PPP, purchasing parity, power parity, goes up a little bit as well. Okay, and then it lists all these other countries, which you can see yours listed here. If the arrow was pointing down, like for instance down here with the United States, okay, let me zoom in on that. You can see that the current population they had estimated in 2013 was 321,370,000. And they projected the population was going to drop to 61,169,000, which is about, what's that, 4/5? At least 2/3, but say 4/5 of the population of the United States was going to disappear. Now, they gave an explanation, which I'm going to show you here in a minute, as to why they disappeared. Okay. You can look here. This is military expenditures from 17. I think this is in billions, actually. But you can see that it drops almost down to nothing. 949 from 17 billion. Which is a huge drop. So the population goes away, military expenditures are gone. What is this one? Oh, that's the military. Okay, that's the GDP. So the GDP drops. That first big number, is GDP. And the second one is the military expenditures. They go from even worse, from 781 million down to just $8 million. And the power, the individual purchasing power, basically, it's talking about the purchasing power of people, goes from 55,000 average to 10,000. Huge drop. But we're going to focus on the population, which is right there, going from 321 to 61. And I have all of the countries here listed. I'll try to let this clear up so that if you want to pause it and look at yours, you can. And when we get to the end here, and there's some countries that the population is maintaining, like China, and a few other countries, but there's a lot of ones that are dropping, and there's a few that are gaining, okay, but the gains are very small. I'm going to try, I really wanted to show each page for a second if I can, because I want all of you guys out there to be able to see this. You can find this on the Wayback Machine. Just go to the type in Google Wayback Machine, and then go, when you get to the Wayback Machine, type in Deagle.com, DEAGEL.com, and go back to around 2013 all the way up to 2017, and you can find these statistics, okay? Because the culmination of what I think is going on here, I do not like it at all, what it looks like. If you take the totals of all these countries, of the reduction in population, okay, what you end up coming up with is a total of about 1 billion people, okay? Guess how many people it is that they're claiming that has taken the sting? Yeah, that's right. Same number. I'll show you here in a second, as soon as I get on down here, because I want to let these clear up. So I'm casting from my tablet to my computer, and it takes a second to clear. But we're getting there. And you're going to want to stay here. You do not want to leave, because what I'm getting ready to read to you is going to blow your mind, and we're almost to it. Here we go. All right, see the thing down there at the bottom? I'm going to pull that up here so we can read it. And you got to understand that they'll put the truth in here, and then they'll put something that will kind of supposed to like throw you off, like this is all a joke. Okay, but let's read this. The majority of the economic and demographic data used in the making of the forecast is widely available to institutions such as the CIA, IMF, UN, USG, etc. You can see the most relevant data at every single country's page. There is a tiny part of data coming from the variety of shadow sources such as internet gurus, unsigned reports, and others. But all these sources are from the internet and are of public domain for at least a minority. Okay. For example, several years ago, Daegong, the Chinese rating agency, published a report analyzing the physical economy of the United States, comparing it with those of China, Japan, and Germany and Japan. The conclusion was that the U.S. GDP was something between 5 to 10 trillion instead of 15 trillion as officially reported by the USG. We assume that the official data, especially, and this is not the interesting part, so hang on, especially economic released we assume that the official data, especially economic released by the governments, is fake, cooked, or distorted in some degree. Okay, that's true, I'm sure, right? But there's other true things in here. Wait till you hear it. Historically, it is well known that the former Soviet Union was making up fake statistics years before its collapse. Western as well as other countries are making up their numbers today to conceal the real state of affairs. We are sure that many people out there can find government statistics in their own countries that by their own personal experience are hard to believe or are so optimistic that they belong to a different country. Despite the numerical data quality, there is a quality model which has not a direct translation into numeric data. The 2014 strain of Ebola, now we're getting somewhere, has a death rate of 50 to 60%, but try to imagine what would happen if there was a plan, dang it, you know what I'm saying? And it says Ebola, with the hundreds of thousands or millions infected with the V. So far, the few cases of the Ebola infected people have enjoyed intensive health care and antiviral breathing assistance, but above all, with abundant human support by physicians and nurses. In a dang it scenario, that kind of healthcare, there's a reason why I have to do this. Okay, you have to understand that they don't want this kind of information out there. Okay, dang it scenario, that kind of healthcare won't be available for the overwhelming number of infected, leading into a dramatic increase in the death rate due to the lack of proper health care. The quality factor is that the death rate could increase to 80 and 90%. So what they're bringing up here is that there might be a plan, dang it, that comes up that will kill off a bunch of people. Okay? The quality factor is that the death rate could increase to 80, 90% in a plan, dang it scenario from the stated 50 to 60. This figure itself is not important. What is relevant is the fact that the scenario could evolve beyond the initial conditions from a 50% death toll to more than 90%. By the way, no plan, dang it, or nuclear war is included in the forecast. Yet here they are talking about it right here as to the reasons, right? The key element to understand the process that the U.S. will enter in the upcoming decade is migration. In the past, specifically the 20th century, this is where you're going to find out why the wall was built. The Trump wall. Keep them dang dirty Mexicans out of here. Yeah, right. Well, you're going to find out right now why the wall was built. The key element to understand the process that the United States will enter in the upcoming decade is migration. Migrating in or out? Which one you reckon? In the past, specifically in the 20th century, the key factor has allowed the USA to rise to its colossal status was migration with the benefits of a demographic expansion supporting the credit expansion and the brain drain from the rest of the world benefiting the states. The collapse of the Western financial system will wipe out the standard of living of its population while ending Ponzi schemes such as the stock exchange and pension funds. The population will be hit so badly by a full array of bubbles and Ponzi schemes that the migration engine will start to work in reverse, accelerating itself due to ripple effects, thus leading to the demise of the states. This unseen situation for the states will develop itself in a cascade pattern with unprecedented and devastating effects for the economy. We're right here. Jobs offshoring will surely end with with many American corporations relocating overseas, thus becoming foreign corporations. Where did all the corporations go? To China, Mexico, things like that. Where are all the big plants where they're manufacturing everything? China, Mexico. Think about it. I don't even want to say what it's. Let's just keep reading, I guess. We see a significant part of the American population migrating to Latin America, Mexico, and Asia, while migration to Europe suffering similar illness won't be relative. Nevertheless, the death toll will be horrible. Take into account that the Soviet Union's population was poorer than Americans nowadays, or even then. The ex-Soviets suffered during the following struggle in the 1990s with a significant death toll and the loss of national pride. Imagine what's going to happen when there is no America. Talking about the loss of a national pride. Holy moly, people will be killing themselves in the streets and killing you if you don't watch it. Might we say, twice the pride, double the fall. And then it says, nope, the American standard of living is one of the highest. Far more than double of the Soviets, while having added a services economy that will be gone along with the financial system. When pensioners see their retirement disappear in front of their eyes and there are no more servicing jobs, you can imagine what is going to happen next. At least younger people can migrate. Never in human history were so many elders among the population. The baby boomers. In past centuries, people were lucky to get to their 30s or 40s. The American downfall is set to be far worse than the Soviet Union's. A confluence of crisis with devastating result. The demographic crisis of the former Soviet Union countries has extended for over 2 decades. If we accept that it ended early in this decade, the 2010s, the demographic crisis will hit the world in the near future and is projected to last between 3 to 8 decades, more or less. 3 to 8 decades, more or less, depending on the technological breakthrough and environmental issues. The aftermath is more likely a frozen picture with the population numbers staying the same for a very, very long period of time. The country's forecast population numbers do reflect births, deaths, but also migratory movements. Many countries are going to increase their gross population due to immigration, while their native population may shrink. Over the past 2,000 years, we have witnessed the Western civilization build around the Mediterranean Sea, shifting to Northern Europe, and then by the mid-20th century, shifting to the Atlantic axis to finally get centered into the United States in the past 30 years. Seems like it's been longer than that, but anyways, the next move will see the civilization being centered in Asia, with Russia and China on top. Let me get a little drink of water, guys. Okay. So if you look at the statistics, China and Russia aren't losing people, they're gaining them, okay? Who owns all the ports in the United States? China. Why is that? Because all the companies have moved to China, and if they're in Mexico, they don't need a port. They can be stuff that is driven in normally, or some probably comes on boats. But what they're saying is that 3/4 of the population of the United States is either going to try to leave or they're going to be dead. And the older people just commit suicide because they don't feel like they can handle migrating. So then I've come to understand in the last while that the Chinese population is the most enslaved population of people on the entire planet, even more so than the Hispanic Mexican culture. They're much more free down there, actually. It makes me wonder that. Do you remember the train children, or it was about 140 years ago or so, where an enormous amount of the adult population died off, and they brought in by ship and and then ultimately by trains, and then further on by a buggy, children from all over the world, and repopulated the United States. And it makes me wonder if they're not going to do the same again, but this time it's going to be with the Chinese. I'm not saying that's for sure, okay, but it makes me really wonder if that isn't what's going to happen. And it also makes me start to realize what all those cities that are ghost cities in China, where they build all these big condominium complexes and there's nobody living there. What do you think those are for? Who do you think they're for? They're for migrants, because people are going to migrate to China in the coming decade, running from other countries, running to China. How bad would it have to get in the United States that you'd want to go to Mexico? For most of you, it'd have to get pretty bad. And for China, it'd be even worse. But when people are starving and everybody's dying all around, there's going to be a lot of people try to run. Now you know why there's a wall down there being built. It's not to keep them out, it's to keep you in. I've been telling y'all guys this for years, and it's unfolding right before our eyes as to what really is going on. Let me look at the last page here. I'll read the last paragraph here. It says, sorry to disappoint many with our forecast. It is getting worse and worse every year since the beginning of the pre-crisis in 2007. It is already said that, when they set up the economic system to pop and crash and take a bunch of money from everybody who had done a bunch of work their whole life, like me, it is already said that this website is nonprofit, built on spare time, and we provide our information and services as is without further explanations or guarantees. They go on to say, we are not linked to any government in any way, shape, or form. Oh yeah. We are not a death cult, or we are not a death or satanic cult or arms dealers, as some BS is floating around on the internet. Take into account that the forecast is nothing more than a model, whether flawed or correct. It is not God's word or a magic device that allows us to foresee the future. Well, they foreseen the future, didn't they? The plan, oh dang it. Yeah, and then everybody getting jabs, or stings. And the number that, if you add all these statistics up, when you add them all up, what does it come up to? It's a billion people that disappear from the planet. Okay. And if we take a look, go over here, Let's see what just happens to come up. How many? Let's put in the right word here. Sorry. That's not good. Not good at all. Let's see if I see the number over here somewhere. Let's try worldwide. Oh, it's even bigger than I thought, but it's over a billion. They're saying doses given 1.45 billion worldwide. Okay. They're saying 271 million in the United States. Oh my God. Look at this. 271 million. Supposedly, if you look, what was it? They said 300 and, they claim right now about 330 million people in the United States, which is a perfect 33, right? But anyways, 330 million. If you take 271 and they all died, how many would you have left? You'd have 60-some thousand left. What did this forecast say that we would have left? Let's go back and look. Just 1 second, and I'll be there. Here we go. It was perfect. 61 million, the exact number. Holy crap. Is all this coincidence? Is all this coincidence? I'm going to state it, and I believe that I'm 100% true. None of this is coincidence. This is a genocide, and one of the major countries that is going to be affected is the United States. They're going to wipe out almost all of us. It's going to be the zombie apocalypse like I've talked about. And they're saying this is going to be by 2025. That'll be when Trump comes back into office to finish what he started. Operation Warp Speed. To get all these things in everybody. Unbelievable. Let me see if I think there was something else I wanted to show you real quick. Okay, where's that? Well, we'll show you this. Just show you a few more coincidences. Well, that's annoying. Look at the gematria behind Deagle. Biden. Dark. Allah. DJT. You don't know nobody's got initials DJT, do you? Then if we look at Dark Winter, Biden end times. Let's see here. Where am I coming with that other one at? 89? What is that? Hold on just a second. Not sure why I have that one in there exactly. Okay, so I'm looking at the word winter here. So winter equals that word. And that in the near. And the word dark winter equals that, 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 and those are some numbers too that are related. But then if you look at this, 603 score and 6, it equals that. It also equals that, and that, which actually that was, does not equal that. That was one of the previous slides it goes with back before. But it also equals that. But then this right here is something that's interesting me very much right now too. Let me hurry over here to it. What does Revelation say? You know who that is? He's got a scar on his face, a head wound. It's on his, the way you're looking at it, it's to his right cheek. It's a little pyramid. He's also got a scar on his, down on his mouth. You can see it in that photo just a little bit. His looking at him, it's on his right side, looking at me the way you're looking at him, on his cheek. You can see it better right here. See the pyramid? Looks like the tip of a spear or pyramid. That's just hair plugs. Really, I know all of us are ugly when you look at us up close, but jeez. Remember what Revelation says about he can make, there's the Borg cube. Remember what Revelation says about the one that comes that can bring fire down from the heavens. And the cube, of course, this is a cube inside of a cube. This is the mark of the beast on his chest. Just like the cube, the Borg cube, and the cube of Saturn is the mark of the beast, but it is also an X. In the most simplest form, it is an X, okay? Which is why XXX is pornography, okay? Because also X is 24 in gematria, which is a deduced number of 6. 2 plus 4 is 6. It's 666. And this guy has a company called SpaceX. His first company was called Zip2, supposedly the first one he come out with, Zip2. And you can see that it looks like it's something falling from heaven, like a lightning bolt also down here, something coming down, and then a lightning bolt. I saw Satan fall from heaven like lightning. That was his first logo. Zip2 was called Global Link Information Network, but they changed it to Zip2. Global Link, like Starlink, like everything they're calling Link these days, okay? This was in 1995. Him and his brother Kimball supposedly started it. This was his second company, X.com. And what I just tell you about X. Now he's got SpaceX. I saw Satan fall from heaven like lightning. He may not be him, but if he ain't, he's his brother. And his other brother, and I know some of you don't like this, but I'm not going to change the truth because you don't like it. Trump is his other brother. Now, X.com, they did video games. Look at some of the video games that they created. UFO, Enemy Unknown, Terror from the Deep, Apocalypse. These are video games that Elon, that means God on. Elon. El is God. Just like in the name Daniel. El, you read it backwards as in Hebrew, it means God is your judge. Daniel, God is your judge. I have a tattoo on my back from shoulder to shoulder that says, only God will judge me. I got that put on before I knew what it meant. But I didn't know it meant my name, Daniel. But it does. Elon means on God, basically. Or God on. So he created Apocalypse Interceptor, first alien invasion. What do you think they're going to use all these satellites for? Well, there's many things, but I'm starting to wonder if there's all these satellites, thousands of them everywhere. Might show you them here in a moment. Genesis. Oh, Genesis. You mean like the genes, the DNA? You mean like the creation? And then Alliance. Okay. And then you got these games, and you can play them on Xbox. So you can play the X.com games on Xbox or PlayStation. And the operating system you can play it on is OS X or Linux or PlayStation. Yeah. The Bureau. Enemy Within. These are games Elon produced. War of the Chosen. Chimera Squad. Terror from the Deep. Apocalypse. Commercial games. Abomination. The Nemesis Project. Says this is a real-time tactics action game developed by Hot House Creations. Hot House, sound like hell. And released by Eidos Interactive for PC in 1999 that has been touted as X.com, which was a game, meets Day of the Dead, which is the zombies. In real time, it says. Aliens versus humans. Hang on just a second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. So let's look at a couple more things here, and then I'm going to show you one thing after. It says another game he created right here called Incubation. Time is running out. It says is a turn-based combat PC game that was considered to be what X.com Apocalypse should have been. And then there's Isomer, there's UFO Aftermath, and there's UFO Extraterrestrials. Now, understand that there is no such thing as aliens or extraterrestrials. Not from other planets. There are things, there are angels here. They appear as balls of light in the sky. Okay? And they have ways that they can appear in other ways, I think. In Scripture, it describes it as bright white and round all about. I have a documentary on BitChute that covers it all. They're demons. There may be something that's like jinns or genies. There are things like that, but they're from here. They've always been here. They're just normally across the veil, okay, where we cannot see them. This is one of the imagery from one of the games, Abomination. Abomination, the Nemesis Project, known in the United States as simply Abomination. Abomination. The abomination that makes it desolate. What do you think it's talking about? The abomination. It's where the genetics have been changed. That is the abomination that makes it desolate. It is taking place right now. Right now. It says Abomination is a real-time tactics action video game released in 1999. In the game, a player leads a team of 8 genetically altered super soldiers, the Abomination, to defeat an infestation of global genetic plague, other beings that are genetically altered, the Abomination. Okay, I'll read this. I think it might be important. They put a lot of truth and hide it right out there in this stuff that nobody would ever take it serious at all. Abomination takes place in 1999 after the United States has almost been wiped out by a deadly plague. According to the game's manual, the disease started on the East Coast and communication with the West Coast ceased within 72 hours. The last few groups of survivors stopped broadcasting after 6 days, and the overwhelming majority of the country's population had been wiped out. Most of the remaining survivors have pledged allegiance to an apocalyptic and ultraviolet cult known as the Faithful, a hazily defined religion whose followers practice mortification of the flesh as well as vivisecting themselves and others to prove the strength of their beliefs. Whatever they mean by that, I don't know. Oh yeah, says the cult predicts the coming of the Brood and the elder gods in the Lovecraftian fashion. Do you remember what the Lovecraftian fashion is about? All those things that guy by the name of Lovecraft came up with. It's the gods of old, the elder gods that they're calling it here, okay? They're saying that they are coming back. And I believe this is what CERN is up to right now, because they have the tallest building in the world that they are building, and it's going to be a straight line particle accelerator that is the most powerful accelerator ever built on the planet by a power of 1,000 at least. Okay, this is their words, not mine. And it's going to be aimed straight up at the stars, and it connects down through a technologically based system to the current 666 shaped accelerator, and then also is connected to the tokamak, the star in a bottle that they're building right now. It's supposed to be finished within a year or so. And the tallest building in the world, the largest straight line accelerator, is supposed to be done by 2024. All this is like lining up for like 2024, 2025 is going to get really interesting. Then they go down here and they start talking about, says the game's opening cutscene contains no words but suggests that the statue something other, meteorite which struck the Earth long ago. The cutscene also shows the Oval Office with a Bill Clinton type character who has obviously collapsed and died while still at his desk. It's crazy stuff, man. Crazy, crazy stuff. Let's see here. If you go and you read Revelations, it's all in there. It's all in there. Let me pull it up on my tablet. Hang on. Okay, I kind of got myself mixed up there for a second. Hopefully I don't mess up the flow of what I'm showing you here. Let's go down here and look at, and he had the power to give unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And let's look at the one right above. And to see them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles that which he had power to do in the sight of the beast and in the sight of men, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had a wound by the sword but did live. An image to the beast. Okay. Here is a gigantic toroidal field. This is the live satellite map of space. Starlink. Everything's a link to something, right? Remember his first company name? You can see it when you look at it from this direction. You can see the loops, the concentric loops around the edges. See them down here at the bottom? Loop, 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 loop. This is how the energy flows in a toroidal field. Okay? This is why they've got it portrayed as a donut. I don't believe ultimately it is like this, but you can still see the image. See the lines? When I'm rolling it down, look at the bottom. See those loops? Yep. And he's done this with his SpaceX Starlink thing, and he has done it with Bitcoin. And I don't know if he's the actual controller of Bitcoin or not. I'm sure that there's many of them, okay? Him and Bill Gates and a bunch of his other buddies. Now, if you still have a cult of personality love affair with these men, I don't know what to say for you. But it's going to end badly for you if you don't turn it loose. All right, let's go back to scripture again. Okay, here it comes. All right, so kind of like what I was just saying. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Okay? Because he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. This means that I think you should have a clue what that means. All right, so, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand and on their foreheads. I'm going to show you how to kind of research this, okay, and so you can come to an understanding. So it says, or in their foreheads, and it says mark in their right hand. Okay, it does not say on the right hand or on the forehead, but it says in. Okay, but you have to understand the way that these words are used in Scripture. Like, for instance, forehead. Okay, if you run a search for forehead, which I can't do it from here. Let me see here. Hang on a second. here. I'll show you here in a second. Okay. Should clear up here in a moment. All right. Let's see. We need to. Okay. Yeah, we're good. See, forehead. So now I can come up here and I can run a search for forehead. And it'll bring up all the scriptures that have the term forehead in it. And if you'll start going down and looking at the way it describes when it uses the word forehead, you will find in a lot of cases, oh, lovely, an ad. Something to do with the devil and cryptocurrency. Yeah, perfect. Let me get back out of there. Okay. So here we have the forehead. Should clear up here in a second. Back to the other screen. There we go. So now if you could start going down and start looking for different words about forehead. Oops. Different words of how they use forehead. Let's look at like Ezekiel 3:8. Ezekiel 3:8. Okay, look at this. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. Okay? As an adamant harder than flint had I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, although they may be a rebellious house. It's saying that foreheads is like your direction. It's your fortitude. It's not necessarily saying, even though I wouldn't doubt that there isn't. See, you're talking about the difference between figurative and literal. Okay, if you look at it from a literal standpoint, that's a mark on the forehead. Okay, or in the forehead. But if you look at it from a figurative standpoint, it means it's your direction, your drive in life, where you're going, what you do. And it's the same thing with the right hand. It's saying that whatever you do as your work, or what you make happen with your hands, or with your right hand, which is the hand most work is done with, it is saying that if you're working for the beast, okay, and you have the beast in your mind, you're already there. You've got the mark, okay? Although I believe that maybe through prayer, repentance, you may be able to remove that. But then, obviously, they're trying to get an actual mark as well, a literal mark. But this is just looking at how the words are used is the way, and also look at the definitions, okay, is an important, very important thing. So let's go back to Revelations again. My screen ain't working the way it should here. Hang on. Okay, it should be clearing up now. Okay, yep. So, if you start looking into the mark on the right hand and its definition, what you will start finding is actually the letter X. What I mean, let me see if I can give you an example. Look at the Strong's definitions. Okay. Let this clear up so you can see where I'm at. Looking at the definition, okay? And then if you click of the derivative to where it comes from, and what you want to do is you want to go through each one of these words that are related to the mark, okay? Like right hand, for instance. And it starts talking about the idea of like grasping, like what you literally or figuratively do with your hand. Let's click on this one. One of the definitions that the base word right hand comes from, it describes it as meaning a storm, rainy season, winter, foul weather, like the calm before the storm kind of talk. It's language that is related to this. Let me click on this again. I had all this already researched up and screenshotted and everything ready on it for y'all guys. And it all got wiped out. Just magically gone, like literally about a year and a half's worth of work. Just basically deleted itself. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is you got to study every word and every base word that those words come from in order to start seeing the big picture. I'll go over this again in depth in another video when I've got a little bit more prepared. But the system I'm using here is, as you can see, the screen is all messed up and keeps messing up. So I'll do this last part again in another video when I've got it put back together again. I hope this information has been helpful to you to understand some of the depth of what is going on and where this is going and how all this plays together. Okay? Because it is what it seems to be. So, guys, I love you, and stay faithful. Remember that God created all things, good and evil. He's allowing it to happen, and because this is a test, we are being thrashed as wheat on the threshing floor to separate the ones that will stand and do the right things and the ones that will fall and be burned in the fire. I don't know why God set it up that it had to be this way, but obviously it had to be this way, because you understand how it is when children are not disciplined and they have no discipline, that they spoil, right? Well, once you understand that our bodies are here on earth, but we are not of the earth, and that we don't need to have a love for this life We should be more concerned about not falling for the second death and being burned in the fire with the threshings. Okay, so remember, God loves you. He wants all of us to pass this test, and I truly believe it is that. And I know there's many questions that could be asked as to why this is allowed and this is allowed, but it's called, this is a world in which free will it was given. And some people become very dark and use that free will for terrible things, but other people, and many of y'all guys listening, chose to go the right direction. At least we're trying the best we can. And I love you. Father loves you. And we'll talk to you again real soon, okay? Go out and see if you can find some people that some magnets will stick to and wake them up. But I don't know if it's too late for them or not. But it's concerning because they're a node in the Borg system now, in the beast system. They're a node. Absolutely a node, officially. So is that the mark? I think I'm going to hold my opinion for the moment. But it definitely ain't good. I love you. Y'all guys have a great day.